Good day. So I wanted to give you a more formal presentation on Rutacharya or Seasonal Regimen. And what I've done is made a slide presentation from the Ashtanga Hridayam or shared from Bhagavad. So Rutacharya, Ruta means season and Charya is regimen. And what happens is, throughout the year, essentially, it's divided into two parts. And one is Uttarayana, and it's the period when the sun or the nature itself starts absorbing strength every day from humans. So strength is less during these 6 months, and this is surrounding the summer solstice. And then Dikshanayan is the period of 6 months when the nature gives or donates strength to us, and this is surrounding the winter solstice. And it's one of the reasons why we have the focus that we do during these periods. So during the northern solstice time or the summer season, what we see is an increase in the sharp, hot, and dry properties. So as we know, like the sun increases, the air increases in quality, which undoubtedly weakens the gentle properties of the earth. So during the summer season and the 3 months surrounding that peak, tastes that are bitter, astringent, and pungent are going to increase, which will eventually reduce the strength from our body as a whole. So it's why we use the opposite taste during the summertime. This builds with the energy of the sun, increasing strength, with the sun increasing strength. During the winter time or winter solstice, the sun is seen traveling to the south of the equator, and the predominance of the moon energy starts gaining strength along with the gentleness and the weakening of the properties of the sun or Agni that have accumulated. So cold clouds, rain, snow, wind during this period cool down the fiery earth from the previous season. And this could cause the unctuous taste of sour, salty, and sweet to gain strength and become dominant. So the 6 tastes or 6 seasons are what we're going to outline. We only have 4. So I'm going to do the 4 common seasons, and then you'll see the full 6 seasons from the text below. So Himantu or winter, we've discussed a little bit, and in the early winter, the cold atmosphere brings about blockages that start dissipating heat in the body. So this in turn, because of the air, it's actually going to, for a short period of time, increase the digestive power or Agni. In the absence, though, of adequate fuel, the sun, the strong digestive fire can increase Vata and start to break down the tissues. So this is why in early winter, it's advisable to consume sweet, sour, and salty tastes. However, Agni must be functioning well, and Ama must have been cleared out during the previous season, hence autumn cleansing. So what we do during the autumn cleanse is we clear out any Ama or accumulated dosha, then we increase the quality of Agni, and then we can start consuming the sweet, sour, and salty tastes that are heavier in nature, but we can use them for fuel during the winter season. Dry food, as you can see, is not advised in the winter, or the body will start breaking down its own tissues because Agni can be variable or start to increase in strength if you've prepared the body properly. So a nice morning regimen in the wintertime is after the long night, and this is from the text. One feels hungry in the early morning as food is digested during the long night. After stool and urine are evacuated, the following regimen should be attended in the early morning. Warm Abhyanga, application of oil to the head, and then hard massage with the Vata pacifying herbal oils. Hard exercise, strength training, and then body massage with the feet. And when they're saying with the feet, it's more of the heels grinding into another person. You'll see that in Thai massage. So rule of movement or Viyama is building body strength to support tissues and the body holding of its own weight. And that's why we recommend strength training during the winter time. The daily regimen after exercise would include a warm bath or steam to remove the oils and then fumigate the body with scents like musk or saffron. Consuming dishes of meat soup topped with ghee, meat of healthy animals if you consume meat, drinks prepared with molasses, rice flour, pastries made with wheat, rice gram, black gram dal, sugarcane juice, and different dairy products are delicious and nourishing. You're going to want to keep the body covered and warm, especially the head. So any of the extremities is where we see vata kind of circulating, leaving the system, or prana leaving through Vyana vata. And so you want to keep the head covered, the hands covered, and the feet covered in the winter season. The embrace of loving women are men with full breasts and hips who are provocatively passionate and have anointed saffron all over their body, and fumigated with fragrant fumes will take away your cold. So pretty much just having like a plump, warm, loving body next to you. One who tends the fire will never be affected with the coldness and roughness of Himantu. And we saw that a lot in Maine with the fire keeping in general, is it really kept the body not only warm, but strong. And we would joke that the firewood warms you 3 times, because it warms you when you chop the wood, it warms you when you move the wood into the fire, into the house and building the fire, and then it warms you with the fire itself. So definitely grateful in the cold that we could utilize that quality. And I encourage you at some point in your life to have that experience of really only heating the house with a wood stove. If you can find a cabin or something like that, it's very interesting. So Vasant is spring. So Kapha has increased or accumulated in the winter because we're doing those heavier, stronger practices that build bulk of the tissue. But in the wintertime, as the sun rays increase, it becomes liquefied. And this liquefaction and movement of kapha can weaken the digestive fire. It can cause various diseases. Hence, the aggravated kapha is to be quickly pacified by various ways, like our spring cleanse, always including Agni support and cleansing performed each spring. The Agni spice mix, we do recommend. The Khichdi spice mix, we recommend. On the website, we've got the turmeric digestive chutney. Those are all fantastic in the springtime and will help to gently increase the heat without it becoming too hot, so it's moving kapha out. The daily regimen for spring, when the sun is at its peak, are to be spent cheerfully telling and hearing fanciful stories near a growing garden with many different fragrant flowers and trees surrounded by affectionate people. So essentially spending time in nature in the springtime, cooled by breeze, surrounded by streams, and in the afternoon sun, which is light and cool. Hopefully here, that doesn't always happen. Now the earth seems to be glittered like precious gems by the sun. Melodious music and the birds are present. Food should be sweet, sour, heavy, and cooling, or they should be avoided. So we want to do kapha pacifying food. And I've got a blog on that also. And you'll note the description here of sense therapy and really utilizing all the qualities that we can take in through visuals are mentioned, audio channel is mentioned, the smells are mentioned, not only taste. And scent therapy is something that we've talked about before. We've got an article on it, and we definitely dive into those of you who are pursuing the professional programs, or you might be working with clients in the future. You want to remember to paint this picture for them in all healing paths so that they really start understanding sense therapy. And it goes on to say in the midday hours when the sun is at its peak, are to be spent cheerfully telling and hearing fanciful stories. This is a repeat near the garden. So avoiding kapha can be pacified with emesis, nasya, light and dry meals. Exercise, we do dry powder massage, so that vartana, and strong massage. So you could use a body brush or dry powder to stimulate the lymphatic system first, then do your abhyanga, and then do your steam therapy. The diet should include old grains, which essentially means dry grains, not fresh grains. Meat from dry lands like goat, deer, that are roasted on a wood fire. Honey can be used in the springtime because of its heat and drying nature. Different wines made from sugarcane, grapes, and honey mixed with juice or water for dilution. So if you are consuming wine in the springtime, it is recommended that you have a small cup, and it's about half water and half wine. So flavored by the sip of a lover with their gracious gaze and beautiful eyes is saying essentially only drink with loved ones. Ginger honey water from bamboo or wood glasses is recommended. The wood or bamboo is specific because it's astringent, so it's good for kapha. Here at the house, if you come, we've got some beautiful wooden cups, they're goblets. that we can drink out of in the springtime, and just even drinking regular water, like it said, the ginger honey water. It's nice. And Grishma in the summer regimen, the rays of the sun are now their sharpest. So the body is going to start to feel like it's squeezed from the air, increasing atmospheric pressure and temperature as the temperature goes higher. And it's interesting, even when you think about what's happening in the atmosphere and the correspondence with that pressure increasing hurricane season and just kind of weakening the planet that we see on this side as a whole. So doing things that kapha reduces more and more during the day, and then there's an increase in pitta and vata. So we see through summer, kapha decreasing, pitta and vata increasing, which is why in the fall, we do a cleanse to alleviate any pitta and vata accumulation. So hence in the summer, salty, pungent, and sour tastes in foods are to be avoided. Intense exercise and intense exposure to the sun should be avoided. So a nice time to come inside is during that peak time around noon. Have lunch, take a break, or take a cool swim. The food that would be recommended in the summertime should be sweet, light, cooling, and just slightly oily in form. Ghee is fantastic, coconut oil, coconut milk, fruits. Light foods are just nice. So eating from the garden. After taking a bath in refreshing cool water, dishes made with cooling, sweet, light food should be nibbled along with smoothies. Smoothies are referencing essentially fruit shakes. So you can look at the website. We have a date smoothie. We also have a berry smoothie. It's pretty much just the fruit in water. We're not adding all these heavy things to make it hard to digest. It's just really light and refreshing. You could add some mint, you could add some roses, you could add cardamom. It's delightful. Intake of alcohol should be strictly avoided. And if it is taken, should be taken with a small amount of water. And this is in the text, not really my personal recommendation. Otherwise, if you drink, it will cause flaccidity of joints, burning sensation, and fainting. White rice that looks like jasmine and is white like the moon. Good quality rice can be recommended with chicken, goats, deer, etc. The soup should not be too thick or too thin. And different types of smoothies and waters, which is cool, should be added with flowers. And that's all from the text. In the night, when the moon is in the sky, after consuming rakshala, so that's yogurt and sugar, then the buffalo's milk should be mixed with sugar and cooled in the moonlight. And so what this means is sweet, cooling desserts can be consumed in the evening during the summertime. Buffalo milk with sugar can be taken before bed if you have buffalo milk. So one note on this is these protocols are for people working in the sun on a farm. They're not for people sitting in air conditioning all day. They're not for people sitting at the office all day, or it can be too heavy. So heaviness causes ama, and all of these can really only be observed if you've noticed that there's lightness and feeling that squeezed effect of summer. If dosha, any dosha is excessively provoked, you won't even have the awareness to see this. So if you have questions in regards to these protocols, like having dessert after dinner time, you can ask me in a private consultation. The summer sleeping regimen is beautiful, with jasmine growing around you and giving you good smell. Growing on a grapevine, so you see grapes and jasmines as you lay in bed. The bed is to be kept in an area where curtains are prepared with scented grass and cool air flowing. So they'll use musta or vetiver or cotton blankets and curtains sprinkled with water to make the cold kind of feeling in the breeze as it blows. Decorations with mango branches, the bed covered with lotus flowers, jasmine and rose, a bed in a place where statues of women are made, and from their breasts and mouth, there's falling water made from fragrant flowers. So the main issue with air conditioning is that it blocks the sweat channel, and it's not just cooling you down. And so pitta actually becomes accumulated because the sweating isn't happening. So fans are better. And sweating is really important in the summertime because it's the only way that you release heat from the body. The evening regimen in summer. So during nighttime or evening, one should stay in an open terrace of the house, which is white in color, not provocative like red, and lit with moonlight. The mind is relaxed and you're withdrawn from activities. You can anoint your skin with a wet sandalwood paste and thin cloves. We have our sandalwood and rose petal powder, and that's what I use in the summertime. Both very cooling. Gentle fanning with wet palm leaves or ornamental fans you can make with peacock feathers or deer tail, garlands of jasmine, flowers, beads of pearls, and sandalwood, like a sandalwood mala or a pearl mala, and the sweet sounds of small children and different birds. Ladies wearing lotus bangles. So this is all suitable for removing fatigue due to intense heat. So klama is fatigue without exertion of summer. Shlama is fatigue from exertion. So they're differentiating here that there's a difference between general fatigue without exertion and fatigue from exertion. And so this is recommended for the overall feeling of summer. And Sarat, the autumn regimen, sweet, light, cold, and bitter foods are recommended and to be taken in proper quantity to remove pitta that's accumulated through the summer and rainy season. Ghee with bitter herbs, laxatives, bloodletting. They use leeches for bloodletting. I've spoken with most of you about this. So we use juicing. You could also go and actually give blood, but probably the amount that would constitute as Rakta Moksha or bloodletting wouldn't happen. And so it's not recommended through practice here in the States. One should avoid sun taking, excess fat, salts, and sleeping during the day. One should avoid the first frost and easterly wind. So it's a good time to begin wearing a scarf, wrap your head, wear light gloves, wool socks, if you're in the northern region. If you're in the south even, you want to be mindful that you're not like getting hit by too much wind, essentially. Water exposed to heat of the sun and cool of the moon rays can be taken as purification and detoxification. This is spotless, clear, and beneficial as bath drinking and swimming water. So you can catch water if you're in a clean area. Garlands made of autumn leaves and flowers. This is the season to release the accumulation of pitta and vata dosha. Prepare for the season to come. So we're working on Agni and reduction and elimination of Ama. And this makes the body suitable for winter practices that cannot be observed without the absence of accumulation from the previous season. And I find the autumn regimen to be one of the most important because we want to be able to use all the qualities of heaviness and building and tissue strength during winter, and we can't do it if the system hasn't been cleansed. So you can see the 6 seasons outlined from Ayurveda. So late winter is kind of January to March, and this is when the sun is just starting to increase in time. Spring, Vasanta, is March to May, and we're still definitely in that period right now in Maine, mid-May. Grishma is summer, May through July. Varsa is July to September, so this is when the moon energy starts increasing. Sarat is autumn, September to November. And Himantu is early winter, November to January. And so you can see the relevance of this. We don't approach it quite as much because there is a variance throughout the US of all of these seasons that make it a little bit easier for people to follow the 4-season chart and look at this for more understanding to see how that fits in. So the strength and luster of one who knows the suitable diet and regimen for every season and practices accordingly are enhanced. And that's by Charak. And I hope that you enjoyed this and you can understand the profundity of Rutacharya and why we focus so much on both seasonal cleansing and seasonal approaches to diet and lifestyle throughout the practices we share at Maha Vidya. If you have any questions, you can reach out. We've got a lot of literature prepared for you. We offer seasonal cleansing, as many of you know, and it's important. Over time, we've seen with students we've worked with for longer periods of time that slowly they start incorporating this, and it takes a few seasons. But after about a year or two, it's almost like something magical happens to the body. And many of you have experienced that. You've had positive results, and we get great feedback of really how this becomes preventative health care, and it becomes longevity care, and it becomes what really allows you to feel like yourself throughout all parts of the year. And then beginning to travel and move through space and time, you can utilize these qualities no matter where you are. So I hope you enjoyed this. I look forward to diving into more about Rutacharya with each of you in the future. Enjoy your day and the season you are in right now. Okay. Thank you all. Lots of love.